This is the new iPad mini 7, and the big question is, who is this for? Well, I'm going to attempt to answer that, but first, let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. It starts at $599, still a 60Hz display, uses Apple Pencil Pro, but no Magic Keyboard. It's capable of Apple Intelligence, and even running Final Cut Pro, but not Stage Manager. And yes, jelly scrolling is improved over the last model, but it's not gone, and it probably doesn't matter in most normal use. But okay, so down to business. Yes, I love this form factor. It's the perfect iPad for reading some articles in the evening, watching stuff on a plane, and speaking of, pilots apparently love it. Doctors can fit it in their lab coat, and I even edited podcasts on iPad mini for several years. For a while, it was my only iPad, and you can watch this video for that story. But this now exists in a world where the M2 iPad Air, like the new one, 11-inch M2 for $500 on Amazon right now. Yes, I will put that link in the description below. And that's the same price as the new iPad mini, $500. And if you're looking for the best e-reader, the Kindle Colorsoft is about to arrive at my doorstep, and it's likely going to be the best one you can get. Plus, in every other Apple context, mini meant cheaper. When the iPod mini launched in 2004, it was $50 cheaper than the normal iPod by $50. The iPhone mini, for the 2 years it was alive, it also was $100 cheaper than the iPhone 13. And the only Mac with mini in its name, namely the new M4 Mac Mini, is the cheapest Mac you can get, which I absolutely did get one. But the iPad mini, yeah, it's kind of right in the middle when it comes to pricing and the iPad lineup. Even on Apple's website, the iPad mini is under the base model iPad, but it's way more expensive. The base model iPad starts at $350, $150 cheaper than the mini. And again, the Air, you can get it on sale for about the same price as the mini. So does the mini fit in over here or over here? Who knows? But it has the A17 Pro chip, which is more powerful than the base model iPad, but doesn't have an M chip like the Air and the Pro. So it's a little confusing. But I will say, if this was your only iPad, it is very capable. I edited podcasts in Ferrite for months, and it was only on iPad. And the new iPad mini is even faster at it. If you want to take notes with Apple Pencil, it can do that too. You can even hook it up to an external monitor and use Final Cut. Yes, the new iPad mini can run Final Cut. That's kind of the magic of this tiny device. It can really do all the things its larger siblings can, well, except attach a Magic Keyboard, but you can use a Bluetooth keyboard if you really wanted to. And it can be used as a little monitor when paired with the Orion app. If you wanted to use it as a monitor when you were filming yourself, or use it as another display for your Nintendo Switch, you can totally hook up a USB-C to HDMI out, either with a single cable or an adapter like this Anker 8-in-1. Get yourself an inexpensive HDMI video capture device. This Guermok is one I find works pretty consistently. And then you can literally have your iPhone mirrored on your iPad. Again, it's great for monitoring yourself, or maybe you want to use this with a headless M4 Mac Mini that you're getting soon. Well, that's likely what I'm going to do. Now, before we get to who is this for, or maybe who should buy it, let's take 1 second and talk about this display. I said it right at the beginning of the video, but jelly scrolling, it is better over the previous model, but it is still a thing. I recorded the previous model iPad mini with the new one, filmed at 120 frames per second on my iPhone to an external SSD, I might add. If you want a video all on that, check it out above. And you can see it is very pronounced on the last model, and it's better, but still present on the newest iPad mini 7. But the real question is, does it matter? I mean, for most people, and I think most use cases I'm going to list in a moment, likely not. If you're just slowly scrolling a book or an article, it's not going to be affected by the jelly scroll on the iPad. What does matter, at least to me, is the 60 Hz refresh rate. The main thing I do on iPad is edit podcasts with Apple Pencil. I talk a ton about that in my M4 iPad Pro review, which I'll link below. But when I'm scrolling back and forth, those audio waveforms get real blurry on a lower refresh rate screen. It's not great. I edit pretty fast too, so flicking back and forth through the timeline, I feel the difference, and for me, ProMotion is just a much better experience. I imagine if you want to create art and other drawings on here, that refresh rate may be an issue too. That's likely why you should look at the iPad Pro, or even an M1 or M2 iPad Pro older model, which you can get really good deals on right now. For instance, right now, you can get an M1 iPad Pro for $600, 128 gigabytes built in. This is an incredible iPad. You can still use the Magic Keyboard that you would buy today, And this is only $100 more than the iPad mini. You get ProMotion, a better display. I mean, if you want something with a larger screen, I would much rather go for an M1 or M2 iPad Pro than something like this. So what or whom is this iPad mini for? Now, I reviewed the last iPad mini, which was 3 years ago, I might add, and I went so far as interviewing a pilot to get his perspective on iPad mini. I also went from the 12.9-inch iPad Pro recently down to the 11-inch with the latest M4 version, and I think that is darn near the perfect iPad. You can check out my review of that up here. But removing the pilot, doctor, scientist crowd, I guess, or anyone who wears a lab coat, because that's a thing people like the mini for, who should buy the iPad mini and for what purpose? Well, let me give you a few scenarios. If this was for a student, elementary through college, and it might be used for work, maybe creative endeavors, drawing, and watching movies or shows, I don't think the mini is actually the best choice. The larger screen of iPad Air, you can pair it with Magic Keyboard, will likely be a better option for working in coffee shops, using the Apple Pencil for creativity, and if they're watching movies and shows, it will be better on a bigger screen, like the iPad Air or 12.9-inch iPad Pro. For an elder parent or grandparent, I don't know if this is great for them either. It's nice and light and it's small, but they probably need bigger text. They're going to enlarge that, and it's going to be their sole computing device. If it is, then get them the 12.9-inch iPad Air with a Magic Keyboard so it feels like a computer. Maybe you're a creative person and you want to draw in Procreate or use Lightroom on a portable device like this. Well, you probably want a bigger screen, maybe even a better screen like the OLED displays on the new iPad Pro. So, not the mini. If you're a musician, one of my favorite use cases for iPad is digital sheet music. I use it, my wife uses it playing in the orchestra. The iPad mini is not a good choice for that either. You need the bigger screen for sheet music. For that, I would get a 12.9-inch Air. So besides pilots and lab coats, who should get the mini? Well, for that, we need to look at the benefit the mini has over the Air and Pro, which is exactly one benefit: the small size, the thinness and lightness. Which, just one irony when you talk about form factor, the iPad Pro is now thinner than the iPad mini. This is my 11-inch iPad Pro on the bottom, and the 12.9-inch is actually thinner this year with the M4. So if you're looking for the thinnest device, it's actually an iPad Pro. But you can't beat the lightness and overall size of the mini. So if you travel often, maybe you want to use it on the go, you're taking notes with the Apple Pencil, watching movies on a plane, which those seatbacks are pretty small, and you want almost zero additional weight or space taken up by an iPad because you already have a MacBook, the iPad mini is a great option. I watched the entire season 3 of Ted Lasso on my iPad mini on a 12-hour plane ride, and it was pretty great. This size on the tray table, I could even fit a little food on there. Now, maybe you want it for reading, but not just ebooks. If you're really into just ebooks, maybe a Kindle like the new Colorsoft, a Books Palma, or other e-ink devices are probably better strictly for reading. If you try to go outside with the iPad mini and it's in direct sunlight, or you're just at the beach, reading on this is going to be tough, and the device gets really hot in the sun. Also, it's not waterproof like the Kindles are, so pool beach reading, probably want one of those e-ink devices. But if you want to read the news and articles online, and maybe watch a quick YouTube video like from this channel, which you should definitely subscribe, the iPad mini is a perfect little device for that. Basically, it's undefeated as the nightstand digital content consumption device. And if you're like me and you already have a nice big iPad like the 11 or 13-inch iPad Pro, and you want the luxury of also having an ultra-portable iPad 2, it is 100% a luxury, as I can just as easily read Apple News on my iPad Pro, but the mini is just nicer to hold and it's way lighter. So who's it for? Pilots, lab coats, travelers, and as the luxury nightstand device for doing a little internet browsing and article reading in the evenings. Bottom line, this is a complicated device to recommend, but I do still love it. It's hard not to. The form factor, how easy it is to hold for long periods of time, reading Apple News on it, I do really like it. So I guess I'm living that dual iPad lifestyle. Even though these are pretty close in size, it still makes a difference. Oh, and one final question. Is it worth upgrading from the old iPad mini 6 to the iPad mini 7? That's a tough one. I would say after 3 years, if you got that older iPad mini like I did on launch day, the battery degradation is noticeable, and if you leave it not charged overnight, it's not going to stay alive very long in standby, and you're going to have to charge it pretty often. So if you want a better battery, that's a reason to upgrade. And Apple Pencil Pro, when I transitioned to the M4 iPad Pro, I quickly realized I couldn't use that Apple Pencil Pro with the new iPad with my old mini. and I did like the flexibility of going back and forth. So if you want to be able to do that, the same Apple Pencil Pro on multiple iPads, that's another reason to upgrade. But if the jelly scrolling really bothered you on the old model, I don't know if the new one's enough reason to upgrade. I would definitely go to a store and check it out, see if you notice the difference. And it's not like you're getting new colors with the new model. You can run Final Cut on the new model and Apple Intelligence if either of those things are important to you, so you do get better performance. But again, depending on your use case, what you are using your iPad for, I don't know if it's a must-get upgrade, but if you've never had an iPad mini before, it is a pretty cool device, I'm not gonna lie. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button before you go. I'm gonna put my M4 iPad Pro review right up here if you wanna see how I really use it for podcast editing. And if you wanna learn more about Apple Intelligence, I did a video showing all the features you can use today with 18.1, not the beta, the version that's out for everyone right now. You can check out that video right up here. Links to that iPad Air and iPad Pro that's on sale on Amazon is down in the video description. Support the channel when you buy from my Amazon affiliate links down there. But thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll catch you next time.